that. Steve Tucker, thank you. Chicago Tea Party, thank you. I'm back from war. I feel like I'm back from war. 3 years, 2 years in Washington. I thought what we do is, I'm going to take about 15 to 20 minutes and just toss out probably the two most important lessons I learned in Washington. And then let's do what we always do. Let's open this up to any questions you might have. And then we're going to end. We're going to end with a call to arms.
Good.
This thing called the Tea Party movement might be bruised, might be a little battered, might feel just a little depressed, but it's not gone, and we can't run away from the name. And if we're smart, if we let the American people know these next 2 years what the Tea Party movement really is, the silent majority in this country, which by the way is the Tea Party movement,
Amen.
which by the way is the Tea Party movement, will help save this country. So thank you. Hey, where'd Steve go?
I'm right in front of you.
And I know you've got this room till 9. I told you 10:30.
I know.
I'm not going to take that long. But before we start, I want to treat this like I treat all and every single town hall I had over the course of the last 3 years. We always say the pledge to begin. How good does that feel? We say the pledge to begin because it reminds us what this country was founded upon. Right? The only country, I mean, think about this. The only country in the history of this planet founded upon an idea. And liberals and conservatives and Republicans and Democrats over the last 234 years have tried to complicate that idea. The media has tried to malign that idea. Politicians don't understand anymore that idea. It's not a sentence. It's not a paragraph. It's not a book. The idea is one word. Freedom.
Amen.
Nothing more complicated than that. Oh, what a concept. Free to be rich, free to fall on your face. Free to start a business, free to have that business go belly up. Free to bear arms to defend your family in the city of Chicago or the town of Schaumburg. Free to say, that George W. Bush, here's what I'd like to do to him. That Barack Obama, he has no clue what America's all about. And not worry about what's going to happen to me. Free. Free. Free to try to make $1 million. Remember when that used to be a lot of money?
Yeah.
I'm almost embarrassed to say that. But you're not guaranteed you're going to make $1 million. Free to try to buy a house. The American dream. But we're all not guaranteed we can live in $350,000 homes. That's what we've done to freedom. We've forgotten that you're free to do good and free to not do so good. The second thing we always do at the beginning of our town halls is we recognize the heroes in our room.
Amen.
The men and women who have died, who have been injured, who have been maimed, who have been scarred to defend that freedom over the years. Over the years. So if you wore the uniform, if you serve this proud, great, good, decent country, please stand up or raise your hand and be recognized. Thank you! Thank you. I think I'm a week removed. How bizarre was this? New Year's Day night, we're in Washington voting. How crazy is that? I am officially a week removed from my last vote in Washington. And it shouldn't surprise Steve Tucker or anybody else in this room. Brace yourself, I voted no.
Shocker.
I voted no. Washington did a week ago on New Year's night what Washington always does. They passed something without reading it. I love this one, because this is one the media always throws at us. Come on, boys and girls. Come on, Republicans and Democrats. Come together and hold hands. Come together, work together, roll up your sleeves.
Kumbaya.
Do something bipartisan. And we did. Republicans and Democrats held hands and signed on to something without even thinking about it. Do you know that I talked to Pat Toomey and Marco Rubio and Mike Lee, United States senators who I love and respect, and Rand Paul, who said they were given this bill at 1:48 or something in the morning, 6 minutes before the vote, New Year's Eve night. Didn't even read it. Didn't even read it. And so then it came over to the House, and I'll answer your questions about all the inside baseball. But here's what Washington did. Hats off to Washington. So I don't know, Jackie, I was never the smartest guy in Washington, but I know a few things. The country's broke. There aren't jobs being created out there. We have a government that's way too big and spends too much, and we're bankrupting our kids and our grandkids. Okay, so what do you do about that? Well, what we did a week ago was we passed a bill that increases spending, increases taxes, and increases the debt.
Hooray.
Think about that.
Forward.
Think about that. Which leads me to my first lesson, the first message I want to impart upon everybody in this room. And if you're looking for a Joe Walsh rah-rah, a Joe Walsh baby, let's hold hands and come on, Tea Party folks, let's have a great time, you're not going to get it tonight. You're not going to get it tonight. Lesson one is, oh, let me back up for a second. And for those of you who have heard me speak, I'm sorry if I'm redundant. Okay? I was saying 3 years ago, and I'm still saying now, and it angers my Republican brothers and sisters, but I'm just going to keep saying it. This country we love, this country we respect, this country people have served, is going through a revolution. If you don't think it is, sit at the bar, drink yourself to wherever you want to drink yourself, and go about and live your life. This country is going through a revolution. I've said that a lot. Sometimes I've said that in audiences small. Sometimes I've screamed it out. And I'm always asked, well, come on, Congressman, what do you mean? Here's what I mean in 30 seconds. There was, in America, where you made $1. Back then, today we call it your money. Back then our founders said the fruits of your labor. You make $1, right? In the original America. Okay, so the idea this country was founded upon was, very simply, that dollar is yours. That money is yours. You get to keep it. Now, even our founders, Madison and Hamilton and Jefferson and Washington and Adams, they all believed in some form of government. They believed in a little bit of government. So let's just play with it for a minute. That dollar that you make, it's your money. Let's give 10 cents of it to Washington. Just 10 cents of it so Washington can do the basic things, right? Protect us overseas, keep us safe on our streets. Here's one. Secure our border. And then basically just stay out of our hair. We get to keep the rest of it, and away we go. We are free. Aha! But we're responsible. Because we get to keep most of our money, we are responsible then to take care of our own lives. You take care of yourself. You take care of your family. Because it's your money and you get to keep more of it, you start a business. Government will stay out of our hair. As your parents get older, you take care of your parents. You go out and find your own health care. You get involved in your church. You start up a charity. Your neighbor down the street is out of a job. You help. The neighbors help. The original America. You are free and you are responsible. That money is yours. Okay, fast forward 234 years. Does that sound like America? No. Well, let's just start at the beginning. That dollar you make in today's America, and I can tell you this, guys, and I don't mean to make you sad, and it's not just Nancy, what's her name? Nancy Pelosi. It's not just Jan Schakowsky, and now it's not just Tammy Duckworth, and it's not just Barack Obama. Darn near every Democrat I met in Washington, and way too many Republicans no longer think it's your money. So that dollar you make, it's really not yours. And over the course of the last 100 and some years, what's happened? You don't get to keep most of it. When you look at what Washington and Illinois and Chicago and every level in between takes from it, right now you're lucky if you can keep half of that dollar. So we're not free. And now, instead of Jackie taking care of herself, instead of Jackie taking care of her family, instead of Jackie's church taking care of everybody in Jackie's church, and instead of Jackie taking care of her neighbor, this thing called government has replaced it all. Makes sense though, right? We're all giving more to government. So no longer are we free to keep what's ours. We're no longer responsible for ours. How sad. A, it's not right. B, it can't work. C, it will bankrupt this country. And D, most tragically, every study in the world over the course of the last 30 or 40 years shows that we as a people are not as strong as we used to be. Our families are not as cohesive as they used to be. We are not involved in our churches like we used to be. When our neighbor down the street loses his job, raise your hand. How many people really help out the neighbor down the street? Heck no. Heck no. I just worked in Washington last week where we passed a fiscal cliff deal where even the Republicans voted to extend unemployment insurance forever without even thinking about it. So who's replaced who? So the country right now is going through a revolution. These two Americas are having out. They're having it out. Thank God we're having it out. Thank God that the Tea Party movement a few years ago woke this country up and said, wait a minute.
Right.
This isn't right. It's not right that you're taking one more tax dollar away from me. It's not right that government is actually involved in bailing out and running companies, private corporations. It's not right that government is going to begin to make health care decisions. Time out. Remember when you had kids and they were bad, you'd send them into the corner and call it time out? Time out, said the Tea Party movement. It's a battle between what this country was founded upon and what it's become. And here's message number one. If you believe in what this country was founded upon, you believe in that original version, vision, message, where it's your money, go be free and responsible. If you believe in that, folks, we are losing. We are losing. That America is getting their butts kicked. We're losing. Among Democrats, Independents, and Republicans. The other side, respectfully, that believes in this new America, it's not your money, I can take more and more every day, I will take care of everybody, that side is winning. I've seen it myself up close and personal. They're winning. Because Democrats, generally, they believe in the new America. Oh my God, they swear by the new America. The president, I don't really count him because he doesn't know what's going on. And he's in over his head, he has no idea what he's doing. And I know there are good people who disagree with me. I'm not focused on the Democrats. I'm not focused on President Obama. I'm focused on the party that used to be the party of the original America. The party that used to say it's your money, keep it, go take care of your life. That party, the Republican Party, has so lost its way in Illinois and the country, they no longer stand for that. So we are losing. I grew up with 6 other brothers, family of 9, Irish Catholic, no surprise, family. And my dad, most of my brothers are much bigger drinkers than I am. But you know, when you have a drug addict, when you have an alcoholic, when you have somebody who's got real issues, they need to acknowledge first and foremost they got a problem. So everybody in this room, if you believe in freedom, limited government, and individual responsibility, say with me, we are losing. Hey, let's say it. We're losing.
Yeah, we're losing.
Don't kid yourself. Don't run away from it. We will never win. We will never try to fix it unless we admit that. So no rah-rahs. We're losing. Message number 2. The reason we're losing is the other side knows it's a revolution. They treat it that way. They know exactly what they're doing. In a very calculated fashion, they continue to get people dependent upon government. They're treating this, folks, like a war. And our side isn't. And hasn't been. I got to tell you, when I talk this way, and this is pretty subdued for Joe Walsh. When I talk this way, I make my Republicans in Congress get a little, oh geez, here he goes again. Here he goes again. Come on, Joe, sit down. Let me tell you why. Extending unemployment, if we just do it, it will help get us elected, and there you go down that path. Our side, the side that believes in freedom, the side that believes in limited government and individual responsibility, we have been asleep for years. We don't treat it like a revolution. How many of you, raise your hands, be honest with me, please be honest. How many of you were surprised that President Obama won? Raise your hands. We're surprised. How many of you were surprised that it ended up November 6th ended up being such a strong Democratic year. How many were surprised?
They stole it.
Oh, shush. Our side doesn't understand we're at war. And I can tell you, because I've overheard and I've spoken to Democrats in private in Washington. They are on a single-minded mission to get the entire country dependent upon government. And they're good! And they're good! Let me legalize every illegal immigrant I can. They're good! Let me expand the Medicaid rolls. They're good! Let me give us something called Obamacare where everybody's going to have to come to government for health care. They're good! Wake up! Guys, we're getting beat because we're not fighting. We're not fighting. So to win, acknowledge we're losing. To win, grab whatever you can grab and be ready to go to war. And then, as Steve Tucker said, it's going to take an election or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 to turn this thing around. And you may not be alive, and I may not be alive, and I know, Jackie, you're going to be around forever. But understand, guys, understand who we're doing this for. It's taken us 120 or 30 or 40 years to get to this point. If you think we're turning it around in 2 to 4 to 6 or 8, you're wrong. You have children. You have children. And I call them children if they're a month away from being born. You have children who are going to be born in the city of Chicago next month who have no idea what's going on. You're doing it for them. I have kids. Does everybody know that I have kids? It's kind of an awkward joke, but let me say it. I bet you don't know how old they are. 25, 22, and 18. They're not little and they're not in diapers. I don't even think I'm doing it for them. I think I'm doing it for whoever my grandkids are going to be. Because if we don't admit we're losing, if we don't treat it like a war, we can never win. And if we don't win, and just listen to these words. If we don't win, we'll bankrupt this country. Bankrupt. Bankrupt. If we don't win, we will forever lose the fundamental principles this country was founded upon. Most tragically, if we don't win, your kids and your grandkids will never forgive you. I went through hell the last year. I picked that district. Here's that district that was shaped like this.
Right.
Was drawn for Tammy Duckworth. Guys named Axelrod and Rahm Emanuel ran her campaign.
You bet.
I became the poster child around the country for that Tea Party guy we got to take down. I went right into the lion's den. It was the most difficult year of my life. It practically killed Helene and I. Hey, Helene. But I did it. Because I said we're at war. And I'm going to fight. I don't want to stay. I live in McHenry. How many people know where McHenry is? I don't want to stay in McHenry where there are more Republicans than Democrats. I want to take the fight to where there are more Democrats than Republicans. And I want to try to show these people, convince these people, talk to these people, and let them know what's at stake. If I go down, I go down. If I lose, I lose. My God! You know why we're in this mess? Because Republicans and Democrats only want to get re-elected. Oh my God, every night I saw it. Every night there's a little prayer room in the Capitol. And they all go in there and they kneel and they pray to the God of re-election. Oh, please get me back here in 2 years. Oh my God, get me back here. I'll do whatever it takes to get back. I'm opposed to gay marriage, but if it helps me get reelected, I can re-examine my views. Oh, we've got a problem with the Hispanic vote. Oh, forget about illegal immigrants. I only want to get reelected. I said before I ran, I could give a damn about my next election. We're at war. I may never run for anything again. We're at war. Let me close with this. I was asked a million times by the media, what most surprised you in Washington? Did you have fun? What was it like? And my answers were usually no, no, no. It wasn't fun. I didn't expect it to be fun. These next few years aren't going to be fun. We're fighting for something a lot bigger than us. I can't watch President Obama. I just can't watch him.
Join the club.
When I'm on the floor and I listen to some of my Democrat colleagues and I just scratch my head, do they not get it or do they not care? I have a hard time listening. But I respect that side. Jan Schakowsky. Hey, be respectful. Jan Schakowsky and I probably don't agree on a darn thing. But I can tell you honestly, she's a committed, should I be careful?
Communist.
How about this?
Progressive.
She believes fervently in this new America. And I feel funny calling it a new America because it's been the America that we've all been adults in. She believes in this. And she laughs at me privately because they know they're winning. And she says what a lot of people in the media say to me, oh, Walsh. Oh, Walsh. You just want to go back. You just want to go back to something. Well, darn it, nod your head.
Yeah.
I do want to go back.
Go back to the Clintons.
I do want to go back. Final quick 3 points. To treat it like a revolution, we still have to do a few things. The first thing we have to do is don't yet give up on the Republican Party. Don't yet give up on the Republican Party. The Republican Party for us, and you're shaking your head and I'm almost there with you. The Republican Party for us still has to try to be the vehicle for the original America.
But they would have to try first.
Godspeed. Godspeed, I agree with you. And there may come a point in an election or two, maybe not that far down the road, where if they don't try and don't do what they should do, then we bid adieu. I'm with you. I would not have voted for John Boehner as Speaker again.
Yay.
I would not. What we have to do, Tea Party Americans, is try to cleanse the party. Every single election, we have to send more Tea Party patriots to Washington and Springfield.
Yes.
So we get to a point where the majority of the Republicans in Washington don't think I'm crazy when I talk this way. We're not there yet. And we may not be able to wait. But right now, I'd advise us all to stay focused on cleansing and purging the party. Second thing we have to do, and this always gets my wife angry at me. I'll be careful. I'm just going to say it. And I'm going to say it by posing a few questions. If you're a Catholic priest, and you run a hospital, and you employ people in that hospital, and the government says you have to pay for and subsidize products that go against your basic faith, you have to. That's the law. What should that Catholic priest do?
Not know it.
Disobedience.
You're a businesswoman in Rockford, a practicing Catholic or a practicing Muslim. You run a manufacturing plant in Rockford, you employ 100 to 120 people. Government says the same thing to you. You now, because of Obamacare, you've got to pay for these products for your employees that go against your basic religious faith. What does the owner of that company do?
That's Hobby Lobby.
Yep, Hobby Lobby. 1.3 million a day.
Ask Hobby Lobby. You're an American. You're just a simple guy like me. And my government gets to the point where my government forces me to buy health insurance. What do? You're an African American or a Hispanic or a white dad who lives about 14 blocks southwest of here. And every day and night that your children walk to and from school and put their heads down on their bed at night and they're scared to death because of the crime-ridden neighborhood you live in, but the city of Chicago says, don't you dare have a weapon at home, a gun at home to protect your family.
Yep.
What should that father or mother do? Folks,
Defy an unjust law.
folks, you're a businessman, a small businessman in Schaumburg who is buried under government regulations and taxes. And here comes the EPA about to give you about 5 more. That's going to add about $50,000 more to your bottom line. You've had it. What do?
Indiana.
Move to
Wisconsin.
Texas. This country's going to tip. We're at the point, and you better internalize this, and this will scare all my Democrat and Republican friends. We're at the point where if we believe these things, if we believe we're losing this country, if we believe we're losing our basic freedoms, we have to be prepared to get serious and defy and or break the law and engage in real civil disobedience. You better be ready. And we better do it with smiles on our faces and prayers in our hearts. It's been done before in this country.
To found this country, it was done.
We need to prepare to do it now to, I'm not going to say defend. I'm not going to say hold on to. I'm going to say we have to do it now to save